Hello, my name is Catherine Métayer. I am faculty at the School of Public Health, University of California, Berkeley, and I am the director of the Center for Integrative Research on Childhood Leukemia and the Environment. The goal of my research is to better understand what causes leukemia and other cancers in children. Healthy diet is known to reduce the risk of cancers in adults. Epidemiologic studies in several countries have also examined the impact of diet on the risk of cancers in children, with a focus on critical windows of a child's development, at the time of conception, during pregnancy, and during the early years of life. A biomarker study that measured thousands of endogenous molecules in blood samples collected at birth found that levels of certain fatty acids were higher in children who later developed acute lymphoblastic leukemia compared to healthy children. And those fatty acids were most common in children who were fed with formula and not breast milk, and whose mothers had a high body mass index before pregnancy. These observations suggest possible etiologic roles of maternal and newborn nutrition on the risk of childhood acute lymphoblastic leukemia, ALL. Let's start with maternal diet. Researchers from the California Childhood Leukemia Study collected information on the mother's diet around the time of conception and early pregnancy and used validated methods to create a healthy eating index. The data showed that the risk of having a child with acute lymphoblastic or myeloid leukemia was reduced with increasing maternal healthy diet, as shown with the odds ratios below the value of 1. Similarly, when breaking the healthy eating index into 4 levels, from less healthy in level 1 to most healthy in level 4, we can see a dose-response relationship with the reduction in childhood leukemia risk being more pronounced as the maternal diet becomes healthier. A study of infants with acute lymphoblastic leukemia conducted in Mexico showed the same pattern of reduced risk of ALL when mothers had a balanced diet enriched with vegetables during pregnancy. In contrast, a meta-analysis showed that women reporting eating cured meat during pregnancy had up to 68% increased risk of having a child with brain tumor. Cured meat is an important source of N-nitroso compounds that are known carcinogens, with N-nitrosamides classified as probable human carcinogens, especially targeting the nervous system. Consuming alcohol during pregnancy is known to have detrimental effects on the fetus. Alcohol leads to genetic and epigenetic changes susceptible to increased cancer cell formation. A meta-analysis combining published data from several studies also found that women who reported drinking alcohol during pregnancy had almost a 60% increased risk of having a child with acute myeloid leukemia. Associations have been also reported for neuroblastoma, but not for lymphoblastic leukemia and brain tumors. Regarding caffeinated drinks, a study pulling original data from the Childhood Leukemia and Cancer International Consortium reported increased risk of childhood ALL and AML with high consumption of coffee during pregnancy. No association were found with drinking tea. Both coffee and tea contains caffeine, which can alter genes regulating cell growth and division. However, tea has less caffeine than coffee and also contains molecules with anti-carcinogenic and anti-inflammatory properties, which can explain the null findings for tea. Let's now review breastfeeding and introduction of formula in infants. Breast milk contains antigens and antibodies that helps the development of a child's immune system, and it also provides nutrients for a healthy start. Altogether, breast milk has the beneficial impact on the health of children. Regarding cancer risk, researchers from the CLIC consortium also found that breastfeeding at least 4 to 6 months was reducing the risk of childhood ALL, even more so when the mom was only breastfeeding. Inversely, the introduction of formula during the first weeks of life was increasing the risk of childhood ALL. Breastfeeding also decreased the risk of childhood acute myeloid leukemia, but not childhood brain tumors, as shown in this graph, where the odds ratios represented by the square, triangle, and round shapes, and confidence intervals represented by horizontal bars were close to 1 or included 1 for any brain tumors or various subtypes. There are less studies examining the role of diet during the early years of life. In general, findings tend to be consistent with those on maternal diet, with decreased risk of leukemia associated with fruit and vegetable intake, and increased risk of brain tumor with consumption of cured meat such as hot dog, to name a few. Overall, studies conducted in high and middle income countries show that long duration of breastfeeding and healthy diet periconception, during pregnancy, and early in life reduce the risk of certain cancers such as leukemia, brain tumor, and neuroblastoma. Little is known for other rare childhood cancers that have been less investigated. Population-based studies mainly rely on case control design with questionnaires, which may introduce biases. However, it is important to also consider mechanistic studies that have shown beneficial or harmful effect of certain types of diet and drinks, often corroborating findings in humans. With our current knowledge, it is prudent to protect children's health by adopting healthy eating habits, even before they are conceived, which may help prevent childhood cancers.